Welcome to another Farmtown Misadventure with Charlie Many Layers and JJ. In this episode, we'll be showing and explaining how to use the show name function and what is otherwise known as the go to farm function, as well as the other functions associated with it that are used by the account owner, and also any visitors that are there can use some portions of it to navigate. Also, neighbors, buddies, friends from Facebook who have Farmtown accounts can also use certain parts of this overall group of functions, as well as those who are super neighbors and also those who have been hired to work on these farms. If this video helps you and you have a Google account, you can sign in to YouTube and click on like and subscribe if you haven't already. Enjoy. We're going to go through the functions of the show names. When we click that, and we can of course navigate to various farms from there. And once we go there to here, you notice it has changed its name to Go To Farm, and you can of course navigate to any farm that you have there. Additionally, you have these functions where down here at the bottom, and you're showing names, you can also click here and get more information on what each farm has and is currently doing. Right now we have these farms with the light brown. They are fertilized. The ones that are not that way, they're not fertilized. And that's fertilized there if you're not sure. Then the next one is if things are irrigated. If they were irrigated, they would show a light blue next to that beige color, that light tan. And we don't currently have any that are irrigated. Then you also have if your flowers are watered, okay? If they were watered, and you can click there, and okay, then the next one is this green one, and that's if you have a Quest farm. And we do have a Quest farm down here that one of my super neighbors uses. And it's there, and so it shows that it is a light green color. Next is our red, which is for private farms, and we have an example of that here. And in that particular case, when it says private, if someone was traveling or is moving from one farm to another, they would not be able to go to farm 2. That's what making it private does. Also, your super neighbors cannot go there. The only one that can go on that farm then is you. Then next we have the gray for disabled, which is you're disabling the ability of your super neighbor to work that farm. They can go there, but they can't work it. And these are all controlled by name here in these settings. The next function is show facility information. So we click on it here, and you'll see that each farm has got various lights or colors on them, and some of them have blank spaces in there. The first position is facilities that are workable by your neighbors and friends. These would be like oil refineries, dairy processing plants, and hardware supplies facilities, things of this nature, as well as most of your restaurants. Next, non-workable facilities. These would be facilities such as oil pumps, fish farms, semi-trailers, bee farms, and things of that nature. And it shows you how many that are there. Then our next one is there are service facilities. These are the facilities that are workable as where your neighbors and friends refer clients to them. It shows how many are there. And then last but not least is the animal buildings. Shows you how many animal buildings that you have on each particular farm. You can also tell when you click up here or you mouse over, you can tell that how many you have total on your farm of the animal buildings, of the service facilities, of the non-workable facilities, and of the workable facilities themselves. Those are your regular facilities. How many of them? And down below it shows you approximately how well they are utilized. The facility capacity usage. Now, as an example, our big farm here for facilities is this farm right here. Here we have 181 regular facilities. We have 8 non-workable facilities. We have 138 of these and 5 of them. Now, another use, this function is available to you if you are working their facilities post. This is available so you can look and decide, well, which farm do I want to work first if I don't have trains? It's because you're going to be there with 180, that's going to mean 90 facilities at least that you're going to wind up going through in order to do them. So you can utilize it for that. Next one is this one. Right now this shows us that we have some crops ready here. If you see a dark brown like this, that means that the farm needs to be plowed. I mouse over it, fields to plow. We'll see this again if we have crops that have wasted. This pertains to crops only. Then you have a yellow that means that you have fields plowed but not planted, so they need to be planted. Then you have crops ready for harvest. Well, you can see that we have some green ones down here and so forth at the moment. Next is flowers to be harvested, but we'll show that in a minute. You have trees to be harvested. That is like fruit trees. That's a dark red. And as you can see, we've got some here. And then a kind of a grayish color is trees to be chopped. We have some of them as well here. Then our last is our fish. Now, say we decide we want to just look for fish. You'll notice that we have these down here, and if I mouse over that, it's just telling you that we have fish. But if we've clicked here and says show names, now we put our mouse over here, and it tells us that this is fish in a big lake. If I had lakes that would be ready later, such as, say, in step is 24 hours. Now, you'll see we have fish in a small sea coast, fish in a big lake, fish in a big sea coast, fish in a lake with a boat, and also fish in a frozen lake, and tells you how many you have of each. Very useful. And this is also available to you when you are a super neighbor working on their farms. All the functions of this one here are usable when you're in as a super neighbor. But it's also primarily for the primary user. But you can use it as a super neighbor. Now, I'm going to click on just these, and I'm going to click on Show Names. And Show Names. Now it shows us that we have currently ready down here potatoes, strawberries, etc. And if we put our mouse over it, it'll tell us how many of them are currently ready. How about an hour from now? Do we have anything that's going to be ready in an hour? In 1 hour, you see, now we have a whole bunch here that are being grown, and they will be ready in 1 hour. And if we click on Show Names, we see that it's all reads in this particular case. We also on this can look at if what's going to be wasted in a few hours. Okay, that's not going to be wasted in 2 hours. And we can come down here, what's going to be wasted in 3 hours. And you'll notice these crops that have been ready down there will be all wasted in 3 hours. And it's kind of that brownish color, which means that the fields need to be plowed at that point, or in this case, means they would be wasted. I'm going to turn this back to all. And you can check each thing. I mean, as an example, your trees, your flowers, whichever you want to look for, and the status of them. Now we're going back. We've got all. And as of right now, ready now, we're going to go to this last function, which is Show User Information. So we click here, and if we have anybody on our farm that is just there, such as workers doing our facility post, they would show up on here as just a white spot. If we have workers, say our super neighbors or someone we've hired that are here with a light blue, that would indicate that which farm they're on, and it also show you that they are offline currently, but they're working. And then the other one is the darker blue, which means they are online and working. If they're just standing there and haven't started working yet, they'll show up as a white. And that's the functions of the show names. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Thank you and have a great day.